Hey everyone, this is Jaden Haidar, aka Spidey Fan 101, and today I am here with a breaking news updates episode for my Big Four this series. Now, this was completely unplanned. I'm still on development on what was originally the third episode and is now the fourth episode. And I'm still working on that as I teased in the last episode, but since the last episode came out, there were even more updates that came up and some very huge ones that we do need to talk about. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So the first topic that we have here, starting with my girl Kamala, is...
Motherfucker! Wait. Let's just. Chocolate! Well, we can talk about what we're gonna. Okay, or you can hit that. Yeah. No. All right. Hey. Yeah. Whoa! Relax. Whoa! Okay.
Let me calm down. So, if you have not read Miss Marvel Mutant Menace, which I haven't yet, so technically I was spoiled on this, be warned, because this is a spoiler for that storyline. Technically it's a good thing that I was spoiled on it, but now we know what Kamala's mutant genes and mutant powers are. And it is those god-forsaken, terrible, garbage, trash bin, hard light, Green Lantern constructs. Let me tell you something right now. The more and more stuff like this happens, the more I am reminded why I hate what the MCU has done to Marvel Comics, and why I hate what this show has done to Miss Marvel lore. I am so pissed off right now, I can't even believe it. Anyway, let's just get into this article from MSN or Microsoft, whatever one this is. It starts off with a couple points here. Miss Marvel Mutant Madness number 4 gracefully blends Kamala Khan's comic and MCU powers, showing Kamala embracing her mutation at her own pace. The issue addresses Miss Marvel's identity and power controversy, confirming Kamala's MCU hardlight powers while honoring her comic shape-shifting abilities. Marvel fans need not worry about Kamala's powers changing entirely to match her MCU counter or character, as the comic handles the transition with care. Who cares if it was handled with care? It's still stupid. Ever since the debut of the MCU's Miss Marvel series, fans have speculated about what Kamala Khan's dramatically different powers on screen would mean for original comic iteration. Miss Marvel Mutant Menace number 4 answers these concerns with surprising grace, acknowledging the different versions of Kamala Khan without invalidating either iteration of the character. Iman Vellani, Sabir Pirzada, Scott Godlewski, and Eric Arcanegas. Miss Marvel Mutant Menace number 4 is heavily centered around the themes of identity and what Miss Marvel's mutant powers mean to her on a personal level. Before Kamala can figure them out herself, she is ambushed by ex-Orcus agent Nikita, guy who is the villain of this arc, who assaults Kamala's mosque with Miss Marvel's reanimated pre-rebirth corpse. Oh my god. I did not know that. Yeah, because as you could see in the comic panel here, this is not like Kamala, as we know, this is again her reanimated body. Jeez Louise, that's dark. And obviously, you know, Kamala is currently being pummeled by this reanimated corpse who does have the hard light abilities, while at the same time having the polymorph abilities. Which, if that's the case, then why even have the hard light abilities? But anyway, so that'll be interesting to see. The undead Kamala's mutant power turns out to be her hard light manipulation abilities from the MCU. Furthermore, she is even capable of using her mutation in tandem with her shapeshifting powers from the comics, aka the polymorph abilities. Marvel won't replace Kamala Khan's comic powers with her MCU ones for now. See, that's the key word, for now. Miss Marvel fans can rest assured that Marvel won't retcon who Kamala Khan is in favor of hewing closer to her MCU counterpart, for now at least. See that? Oh my god. While fans in 2022 were initially excited to hear that Miss Marvel would be joining the MCU with her own series on Disney+, there was consternation over the fact that her superpowers would be changed from her comic book iteration to be more film-friendly. Instead of having stretching and shape-shifting abilities from inhuman genes, the MCU version of Kamala instead summons hard-light constructs from the Noor dimension. These constructs replace what comic Kamala would normally do with her own body, such as elongating her limbs or enlarging her fists. More than that, but it's true. This change was not helped by Kamala's sudden death and equally abrupt resurrection as a mutant in the comics. Many readers suspected that this was an excuse to change Kamala's powers in the comics to more closely align with her MCU self ahead of her appearance in the Marvels, a suspicion which has since been confirmed. However, despite the resurrection as a mutant in X-Men Hellfire Gala, the comics have refrained from revealing Kamala's mutation until now, let alone having her display any other powers aside from her regular stretching. Here's another screenshot of the fight that is going to take place. Miss Marvel New Mutant Menace number 4 elegantly walks the line between the comics and the show. While it confirms Miss Marvel's mutant powers are her hard-light powers from the MCU, the book makes a point of Kamala rejecting outside labels or expectations. She will embrace her mutation when she is ready and no sooner. Similarly, the fight with her undead self emphasizes that her powers are not mutually exclusive, meaning that Kamala is not forsaking her original powers for her MCU powers. This is a tactful handling of the subject that acknowledges both iterations of the character without invalidating either version. The difference between Miss Marvel in the comics and the MCU has long been a source of suspicion and consternation amongst fans, but Miss Marvel New Mutant lays much of it to rest by acknowledging Kamala's powers from the MCU as later potential, not dogma. It allows the character to continue to grow, literally and metaphorically, as she has in the comics, while also remaining accessible to her MCU self. The road to this point has been rocky, but the payoff is worth it. Miss Marvel handles the comic debut of her MCU powers as elegantly as possible. Look, while this article does a, good enough job of emphasizing their opinions on how it's handled, again, I haven't read the comic yet. That's not until November for me, when the volume comes out. So I cannot speak on the execution of this until I read it. But no matter if it's handled well or not, this proves the ever-growing problem that is going on with Marvel Comics and the MCU. And Ever since that show came out, I have been fearing this day ever since. And now that it's here, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off because there was no reason to do this. There was no reason to do this. You could have, now, from the 2 comic panels that I've seen, you know, it was only her reanimated corpse. That man, that's crazy to say. But it was only her corpse that had the hard light abilities. It wasn't Kamala herself. So maybe, you know, that's the thing where, you know, it was only the corpse that had the hard light abilities, and Kamala might not get them. I don't know. But it seems less and less likely that that's going to be the case. It seems like those are her mutant abilities, and I am so pissed. I mean, if there's any plus to it, I guess it's cool that they're not getting rid of her polymorph abilities to make this happen, but it's just ridiculous. This synergy that is going on between the MCU and the comics needs to stop. It doesn't need to happen. Marvel Comics 616 is the original Marvel Universe. And why it constantly feels the need to connect to the MCU or do the things the MCU does or act as a staple for what the MCU can do in the future is utterly ridiculous. And it needs to stop. And now we have reached a point where the worst has happened. Where now the hard light abilities are getting closer and closer and have now actually made an appearance in a Miss Marvel comic. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And I am tired of this. I'm gonna read Mutant Menace in November and see what the effects of this are and, you know, what happens in regards to this. But I'm telling you right now, as a fan of this character and her comic journey, I am profoundly disappointed, and I actually considered canceling my pre-order. I mean it. I actively considered canceling, because I have Mutant Menace pre-ordered for November. I've had it pre-ordered for like since early this year, but I'm telling you right now, I considered canceling my pre-order because I was so mad, and I'm still mad. I'm pissed. This is why it's like I don't hate the MCU, and I don't even hate the MCU iteration of Kamala, but the changes that they made, these stupid, ridiculous, absolutely unnecessary and disrespectful changes that they made in the MCU with that show, is now sticking its ugly head in the comics. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. But I will read Mutant Menace, and I'll finish out this arc. And I gotta tell you, after that, I don't know. After that, I don't know. Because Kamala Khan regularly shifts when it comes to being my favorite character of all time. I absolutely love Kamala. I absolutely love her journey in the comics, and how far she's come as a character in her journey, and her embracing her powers, and, you know, actually learning to appreciate her powers, and her and herself, instead of being ashamed or embarrassed because her powers are so wacky and out there. And sure, some may say, oh, well, why can't it do it with the hard light power? Because the hard light powers in the MCU was not a change that was made because they thought it would be interesting or they thought it would provide a new perspective to Kamala's character. They were made because the executives did not want another stretchy person in the MCU. This is confirmed. This is something that is true. This was a corporate mandate, not a character decision. And the fact that there's a clear difference. And the fact that this corporate mandate is now making its way into the comics is unacceptable. And I am profoundly disappointed and profoundly pissed off in the creative team. I don't care if they were forced to do this. I don't care what the situation is. I am incredibly disappointed with the creative team that they even entertain the idea of bringing these fake abilities into the comics. Enough is enough, bro. I'm telling you right now, enough is enough. You could have given her some really cool new abilities that could have been her mutant powers, that were actually respectful to Kamala Khan's history, that were actually respectful to her lore and mythos, that were actually respectful to what has come from her journey in the past few arcs of her story. But this is a tragic moment. I don't care how well it's handled. I don't care what the intention was behind it. This is a tragic moment. And shows once again why the influence of the MCU is killing Marvel Comics. And has fundamentally derailed Kamala's character. I'm not talking about story-wise, because story-wise, like, the New Mutant was a really good story. It was really well written. It was well told, and it was a great start to this mutant arc that she's in. But the fact that this is where we're taking this is profoundly disappointing. And I am not happy about this at all. This was a very disappointing thing to find out. Very disappointing. And now, quite unfortunately, because before I was looking forward to reading The Mutant Menace, but now I am left with nothing but skepticism and fear in terms of what this comic is going to do. Because and honestly, like, now I don't believe that Feige was not responsible for Kamala's death. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. Either they keep saying that he's not responsible for this when really he is, or Marvel editorial is just at it again with the nonsense and stupidity. I don't get it. But anyway, moving on from that, I had to get the bad news out of the way first. It's nothing but good news from here. But as a fan of Kamala and a fan of her story, I am profoundly disappointed today. Profoundly. Anyway, moving on to my girl Anne-Marie. I'm trying to perk myself up a little bit. There was a trailer that came out about 8 days ago that teases the new comic run for Uncanny X-Men. And this comic run is important, especially when it comes to my girl Anne-Marie, because this will officially put my girl Anne-Marie in the leadership position, as she has now become a leader of the X-Men, or this branch of the X-Men. And you know, in this comic, it's very interesting because it initially starts off with a dragon, and then you know, a whole bunch of stuff going on with whatever inmate X is. I'm assuming that's Charles, because he was put in prison at the end of the Fall of X event. And you know, this is a very important story for my girl Anne-Marie, because this shows how my girl Anne-Marie can be a leader. And you know, I think she's very well suited for that, because like you said many times before, not just in X-Men the animated series, but also just her character in general, you know, she wants to be a contributor. She wants to help people however much she can, and she wants to be that person that can, you know, ultimately be the force for good and help when she can, if she's you know, if the opportunity arises. So her being the leader of this team, you know, is really cool, and it's definitely gonna drive me to reading some X-Men. I'm not gonna lie to you. The little synopsis here says Rogue, Wolverine, Gambit, Nightcrawler, and Jubilee protecting mutants from a world that hates and fears them, and using their powers to ensure there is a future worth living in. Uncanny X-Men number 1 by Gail Simone and David Marquez arrives this August. So, you know, not very heavy when it comes to plot details, but I guess we'll learn more about that as time goes on. But, yeah. I love the fact that my girl Anne-Marie is being more and more propped up as a leader figure. Especially, like, of the X-Men, and just in general. You know? She, like, this is a great prop up for my girl Anne-Marie. And I'm proud of her. But moving on to my girl America. This is a very big revelation we have about my girl America, because the last episode we were talking about how she has literally disappeared from the face of the earth. But yesterday Marvel publishes an article about Ultimates number 2, or Ultimates 2. The new Ultimates run that is currently going on, because there's a new Ultimate Universe unfolding, as we all know. And in this is going to feature my girl America with an absolutely amazing looking suit. Look at this. It's absolutely beautiful. But before we get into talk and speculation, let us read this article. So, in today's Ultimates number 2 by Denise Camp and Juan Frigeri, Iron Lad and Captain America recruited another hero to their cause, America Chavez. Marvel's new Ultimate Universe was meticulously crafted by the maker to be a world without superheroes. After discovering this dark truth, Tony Stark has assembled a team to set things right. In Denise Camp and Juan Frigeri's Ultimates. On sale today, Ultimates number 2 saw Iron Lad, Captain America, Giant Man, and Wasp storm the former White House to free a superhuman who was being used as a power source by the Maker's Council, a young woman named America Chavez. Will she add her dimension-shattering star portals and incredible strength to the Ultimates' mighty mission? And how will she inspire the newly reawakened Captain America who's still reeling from learning of the United States' tragic downfall. Stay tuned to upcoming issues as more secrets behind this twisted earth are revealed and the Ultimates continue to restore stolen destinies to iconic heroes. Okay, so knowing that and reading that synopsis, as well as this picture right here of My Girl America, there are a few conclusions that we must talk about. For one thing, for the longest time, it has been stated that America is, like, from the 616 universe now, is the only America. Because the utopian parallel is outside the multiverse, or reside outside the multiverse, and, you know, America was born there. That means that there's only one America, because America was born outside of the multiverse, so there's no America that existed in the multiverse. But Made in the USA, as we know, changed everything, because it basically told us that her time in the utopian parallel and her growing up there was basically a lie that was used against her for these people that were experimenting on her and Catalina and all of the other girls that were kidnapped and put into this place. And it was basically revealed that, you know, her time in the utopian parallel, at least her childhood there, was a lie. So, having all that being said, is there now the question must be asked, is there a possibility that this America that we see right here is not 616 America, but the very first in comics? Because we know in media there are a couple iterations of America out there now. But in comics, is this the first multiversal variant of America? I think yes. Because, for one thing, we have to look at what this summary said in regards to what her whereabouts were. Where, you know, the Ultimates were trying to free a superhuman, that being America, who was being used as a power source by the Maker's Council. So, this implies that she has been held captive, kind of like how Supergirl was held captive in the Flash movie. Basically, with the Maker siphoning her power for whatever means and using it as, you know, like a power source for his council, I guess. And that implies that this America has been here for a minute. This isn't like, you know, like America Prime, where she has been free for a long time now. We just haven't known where she's been. Now they could spin it to be, this is 616 America, but where she's been all this minute, or where she's been all this time, is being held captive by the Maker because of the fact that he wants to use her power. That could be it. And they could use that as an explanation to tell us why America Prime has been absent for so many years. But a part of me does think that this might be a new version of America, to where, this is a version of America that has been held captive, that'll probably be a little pissed, a little, angry, might have, especially from being kidnapped all this time, that probably may have new lore. Who knows? Because in the ultimate universe is still unfolding, so there are many question marks about it that still need to be answered. But in regards to America, does the Ultimate Universe have a utopian parallel? Is it similar in this universe to what it was in the mainline 616 universe, to where her origin was a lie? Or in this case, was her origin not a lie, and she really did grow up in utopian parallel? Who knows? But it's really cool to see that we have a return of America. I can't quite confirm to myself as of right now that this is America Prime, or if this is a new version of America, but I guess time will tell. I'm not 100% sure right now. But it is interesting if they are going for a new version of America. Because if they're not going for a new version of America, and this is America Prime just held captive by the Maker, and that's why she's been absent all these years, then that would be a very interesting place to take her story. And we'll see, because apparently she's also trying to be inspired by, or Captain America is said to get inspiration from America. So that would be interesting to figure out as well. But I guess we will have to see. I'm looking up some screenshots here to see if we have more information. Let's see. The final twist of the Ultimates #2 is that the mission to save America is not metaphorical, despite Steve Rogers viewing Midas as the embodiment of America's corruption. The source of Midas' cosmic power is revealed to be America Chavez. The hero was trapped in the White House basement, exploited by Midas to pad his pockets and empower himself. This revelation raises another nod to the original Ultimate series, when the young Tony Stark asked Steve Rogers for his verdict on the 21st century. This references President George W. Bush asking Captain America the same question. The new Cap has a decidedly more negative reaction, with his comforting words to America Chavez acting as his answer. Which reads from this screenshot we have here. Tony says, "Well, what's your verdict on the 21st century Captain America?" And Cap says, "A great injustice was done to you, but things will be better now. Can you remember your name?" And this is the only screenshot that I'm seeing right now. Let me see. Because even then, they don't seem to answer in this comic if this is the same America that we know, or if this is a new America. They still don't seem to answer that question. So we'll have to see in time. But I look forward to seeing where they go with that. It's very, very interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. The question remaining is, will America take up the Ultimates' cause and join them, or will she be an ally that comes and goes throughout this first year of the Ultimate series? The heroes only have 16 months before the Maker emerges to reclaim what is being taken from him. Okay, so yeah, even from these screenshots, I can't really tell, because again, like, if this is the same America that we know, and maybe sometime off screen the Maker captured her when she was trying to find her sister, or when she was trying to find Catalina, and took her to this new Ultimate Universe to where she is being held captive and uses a power source. That could be interesting. And it could really, share what's been going on with her. But if this is a new iteration of America, and this is the first time we're seeing this new iteration of her, it would be very interesting to really get to know her and to see who she is. and what's going on, you know, with her story and her background, and you know what's going on with her. So that would be very interesting. And then, you know, I don't have much on my boy Peter here this time around, or the Spider-Verse. There's not really much news going on right now. Spider-Man 4 is still looking for a director and is still sounding like a mess. ASM got a new writer, which is cool. He's worked on like Ben 10 and, you know, a whole lot of other cool shows, including Spectacular Spider-Man, so that's cool. Hopefully he fixes Spider-Man in the comics, and he's able to bring him back to a place that we can all get behind. And yeah, that's about all I have for him. There's not really much news going on right now for him. But as far as Kamala and my girl Anne Marie and America, there was a lot of big revelations that are going on with them, so I had to come on here with this breaking news episode to talk about them. So yeah, very interesting insights, and I just had to make this because it was crazy. But what was the third episode and is now the fourth episode is still coming out, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, so I am Jane Haidar, aka Disney Fan 101. Hey, Disney fan. I am Jane Haidar, aka Spidey Fan 101, saying peace.